Hola, What's Poppin' Nation? It's Lena with What's Poppin' USA, the Small Business Support Network. In this week's show, we have Ms Jackie Wysebeek of Eyes to Analyze. This young lady is a certified online business manager. That means she can take all of that chaos and foolishness and go ahead and package it up and streamline it for you. Sounds like winner, winner, chicken dinner. Let's talk small business. So y'all, as promised, we have Miss Organizing Guru here, Ms Jackie Wysebeek, who is coming to us again from our neighbors north, Canada. Yeah, Canada in the house. Wore red for you, girl.
I love it. Yeah.
I look like a big maple leaf flag, for you.
Perfect.
Well, Jackie, welcome to What's Poppin' USA and beyond. And go ahead and please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you. I premise this by saying I'm already nosy. I'm kind of like that stalker ex-girlfriend that goes through all your shit. So I've already been through your website, about you. I've been nosy. But for the people who don't have those stalker tendencies, please go ahead and let us know what you've got going on up there in Canada, darling.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for having me. It's been great to meet you, and I look forward to our talk today.
Yes,
like you said, I'm up in Canada, actually Calgary, Alberta. So the greatest outdoor show on earth. If anybody comes up here, that's my hometown. So
I think I've been to Ottawa and I've been to Montreal.
Oh, okay.
Those are the two that I've right over the border. That's why.
Yes. That makes sense. That's awesome. So I have my own small business and I am a certified online business manager. So what does that mean? All things processes within your business, efficiencies. Lena's already explained to me the amazingness of the I shouldn't say of the pandemic, but a fallout of the pandemic is there's so many more businesses that are coming online, which is phenomenal. But a lot of business owners started their business because they had a passion for something. And then once they get into it, it's like, oh, wait a minute.
There's an oh shit moment.
That's right. Yes.
I don't know what I'm doing.
That's right. Yes. And it's like, oh, I'll go get this system over here to let me stream online. Let's do a Zoom thing. And then, oh, wait, how do I actually talk to my clients? And I need a website. So all of that back end stuff, it takes time. And so you can easily get burnt out. Figure out like, you know what, I just want to throw in the towel. Like this whole back end stuff is not my beauty. So
at all.
So that's where online business managers come in. So we can come in, we can help you, take care of the day-to-day operations so you can just focus your time on doing whatever it is in your business that makes you happy. So whether that's team management, whether that's project management, launching products and services, just being that sounding board, like that small entrepreneur journey, it can be lonely.
Yes.
It can be. So that's kind of where our role comes in as well, is we can kind of be like a silent partner to be like, hey, Jackie, what do you think about this idea? It's like, well, let's go back to your goals and visions of your company 2 years down the road, 5 years down the road. Does it align? How are we going to make it happen?
And you guys create metrics even to be able to quantify your actual progress.
That's right.
So as a small business owner, I've got my ears on, and what I'm hearing is, let me paraphrase in my own vernacular, what you're saying is you would come in, you and your team would come in and basically almost mimic me. I would be like another Helena
Yep.
that would do and delegate the administrative duties, and some of the administrative duties that I would actually have to do, you guys would actually carry those out so I can be free to be the creative girl that I am.
Absolutely. 100%. That's exactly what we do. Yeah. So it's very exciting. I mean, what your passion is what I would like tap into,
Right.
and your business becomes my business. I'm just as invested in it.
So
So
let me ask you, how does it work? And I always like to use myself as an example.
please do. Yes. On the spot
So,
coaching. I love it.
so,
Strategy
so,
session. Here we
so,
go.
so, so. So I come to you and I say, oh my God. So first of all, let me premise, do you already have to kind of have a team in place?
No. All that
Okay.
you need at this point is something that has been creating revenue for you. You've got like your, sale pitch gone, and typically we work with people. The sweet spot is about $250,000 per year that you're making.
That's where I'm looking to see what your
Yeah.
criteria are. Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll pretend I'm going to put on the hypothetical What's Poppin USA and Beyond shirt, and we'll
Sounds
say I'm at that point already. Okay.
good.
Which probably means that I do have somebody on board to help, because if I'm at
Right.
that level,
Yep. You could be solo, or you could have maybe one or two people, like a virtual
I'm thinking with what I
assistant,
do with like event throwing and stuff
Mhm.
like that, and me wanting to branch out in different states, then I
Yes.
probably would have other feelers or whatever people.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking like in my long-term plan, I probably would
Absolutely.
have something. So
Yep.
I would come in and be like, oh my God, Jackie, I am drowning
Yes.
in the day-to-day pettiness
Mhm.
of making sure everybody knows their daily routines, or checking in to make sure that things are on track, or I'm not sure, I need the spreadsheet from last quarter to this quarter, and I really don't have time to constantly set that up. Can you set something up for me so I could just press a button and it'll like come up and tell me? I'm heavy in social media. I don't know if you have anything that will help me analyze how my platforms are doing. So I don't
Mhm.
necessarily maybe work in sales, because I'm not selling a thing like a phone or a book or a lipstick or something, right? I'm
Yeah.
selling myself and my services,
Yeah.
but you know, but social media is big for me. I'm trying to see what social media ads and what platforms are working best, what I need to concentrate on, what I need to let go. Old chick is on TikTok. Who the thunk? You know what I mean? I'm trying to dance with the best of them and keep it up with the trends. So
Yeah.
is that also, I mean, what types
Mhm.
of things can you actually, because service and product are different.
Yep. No, we
No.
tap into both.
Yeah.
It's your business as a whole. So, there might even be an opportunity to say, hey, look, there's an opportunity from what we're seeing in the feedback from your audience that, hey, you need to release a product. Did you ever consider that? Or let's do this service line, right? So we're just another brain in your business. And what we find is a lot of entrepreneurs are visionaries.
Yes.
So
They just don't know how to get to what they're envisioning.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
behind the scenes, that's what we'll do. And so as a certified online business manager, our slogan is essentially the right things done by the right person at the right time. And that even means the CEO or the owner of the company, right? Because I don't know about you, but even as an old business owner myself, it's like, oh, I got to do this and this. And then there's that shiny object
all the hats. And
That's
then
what
I've got 3
Yep.
dogs. I've got
Yep.
kids. I've got a
That's it.
husband who acts like a kid. So I got a whole bunch of everything going
Yeah.
on that it's hard to, it's
And
hard to
manage.
juggle,
That's right.
and it's hard to balance.
Yeah.
And what I'm hearing from you is relief.
That's right. Let's take off those hats. Let's see.
Yes. So I
Lena,
can
why did you
focus
start
on,
this? What sets you on fire? Because you don't
right.
want to be doing this and waking
Yes.
up every morning saying, "Oh, my long to-do list. I gotta do so much," right? Like you want you on fire,
It
girl.
kills the passion, doesn't it?
Yes, exactly. Yes. And that's why so many businesses don't succeed because they're just bogged down, right? Overwhelmed, 100%, stressed out, burnt out. So, yeah.
So take me through, I'm going to go back to me. So
Yeah.
I'm making 250,000, and that is between my events
Mhm.
and I have a couple of little merchandise things like t-shirts and
Yeah.
calendars and a book and stuff like that, little stuff. But the big draw for what's popping are these events that I throw. So that's our
Mhm.
main focus. So if I came to you and said, okay, I need help organizing, um what take me through your thought process, your business thought process of how you evaluate, okay, this is Helena, she's a hot mess. How do I categorize all these things to take her from here to like here?
Over here.
Yeah,
Yeah. So when we first work with a client, we basically have a 3-hour, just like a deep dive into your business.
you're like a
So
SAT test.
yeah. But I want you to have your cup of coffee
Right.
and you're just kicking back, like show up in your pajamas, right? I'm just kind of trying to get into
I
that
got my
rhythm.
leggings on. I got my
Love it.
leggings
Yes,
on.
yes, yes.
Got my leggings on.
That's the way to do it, right? So then we just really figure out like, what have you done today? What's working well? What are you like, what are your visions? What are your goals? Have you actually sat down and gone through them? If not, let's just brainstorm some things, right? So then here comes a visionary and you're just like, oh, I want to do this and I want to do this. It's like, beautiful. Tell me more. Tell
Right,
me more.
right,
What is your objection with this? What do
right,
you look? Are you doing this out of like, oh my gosh, my best friend did this and it works so good for their business?
right,
We have to do it.
right.
It might work for you, but it
What's
might
your
not.
why
That's
of
right.
behind?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's where we take all these beautiful visions and we just say, okay, where does this kind of fit into the plan? Is this going to be profitable for you? Is this going to keep moving the needle, not only for your passions, but for the monetary to keep your business afloat, right? So then from there, then we're like, okay, Helena, like, yes, I think this is going to fit into the plan. Now, we can't be doing this overnight. So
Oh,
let's like,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah. A
I don't know if
total,
you've done it. You take on,
yeah,
yes, I'm going to
yeah.
do this. Yes, I'm going to do this. Yes, I'm going to do this. It's like,
Gotta have,
no, we need to spread this out and plan it out. So we work on 90-day. We'll do a year plan, just penciling things in. But then we really hone into what does the next 90 days look like? Because then you know what you got to do. I know what I have to do. We know what the team has to do. So,
right,
whether on a team basis, if you have people, they start reporting to me,
right.
right? And then they're not banging on your door, interrupting your precious time. We create what we call standard operating procedures. So, any task in
Love
your business, we create a document. So then, as we all know, turnover happens, right? And that's okay.
yes, yes, it does,
Okay,
unfortunately. But
right?
yes, yes, it
So
does.
then you have this document that doesn't matter who you bring on, you're going to say, here you go. This is our standards for doing this task. Follow this along. It doesn't matter who does it.
You know what? And I'm going to piggyback and say and bow down to you on this one, because as small business owners, sometimes we do wear those many hats, right? And so we get into a situation where we may outsource or buddy up with somebody else to take on a part of our business.
Mhm.
And then what happens when that buddy gets a better offer,
Yeah,
that buddy gets a better job, or that buddy's just tired of,
that's right.
right? And then they bow out and you're like, I have no idea how you did what
Mhm.
you did, and you're scrambling
Yes.
to learn, right?
Yep.
How many jobs don't, I mean, think of when you were an actual employee. How many jobs don't really train their people,
Yes.
or they don't have a manual? You just have Bob over here showing you how he does his shortcuts that somebody else showed him. They don't really have a actual way, a manual, a standard operating
Yep.
policy or procedure of how to do their tasks,
That's
right?
right. That's right. Well, and so back to your situation, right? You started this business. You are so genius that you've piecemealed the little things that have come in, right? Just to make it work.
Right. Thank you.
But
Thank you.
then you're like, "Oh, I need some help." Oh
Right.
my gosh, but if I bring on somebody, I don't have time to train them, or I
Teach
don't
them.
even know. Every time I do this task, right? I do it a little bit differently. Like there's no standardization, but you make it work and it
Right.
works. So that's where it's like, okay, hey, Helena, I'm here. Let me just look into that little brain of yours. Let me just take on some of that stuff. We'll document it all. So it's not, you just talk, you just do you, and I'll observe on the back end. And then we look and say, you know what? There's a gap on the team that this is not your passion anymore, doing, I don't know, marketing per se.
Right.
I'm not an expert in marketing, but what my role is to say, this is the next hire we need to do.
Right.
Let's create this job description for what's going to work in your business.
You are speaking my, oh my God, you don't understand how you are speaking my language. I literally have been writing up job descriptions
Yeah.
of the different people that I would like to hire as a team, and writing down very specific duties,
Yeah.
under each one. I'm like, when we went to work again as an employee,
Yes.
right? Even though they may not have had somebody to necessarily train us that well, when you applied, there was a job description that listed out, even though they get away with it at the bottom and they put, at the IRS, they used to do this, and other duties as assigned.
Yeah.
Bitches, like, that's everything else we tell you to do.
That's right. Yes.
But for the most part, your duties were listed out. Why, as small business owners, do we not do that? Are we not thinking ahead? Are we thinking that we are going to be like, who runs their business by themselves? Nobody. Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, you name a person that runs their business by themselves. Nobody,
No.
right? Why do we think that we're gonna, or maybe we don't trust ourselves and we're gonna stay in this little Helena bubble, and we don't really take ourselves seriously or think we can really do it. I mean, I don't know what it is.
Oh, for sure. It's all of that, right? Or I can learn that. They did that. I can learn it. I can go to university YouTube and it'll tell me whatever I need to do, right?
No.
But that's your precious time. That's why we get overwhelmed, because we can do it all, but we can't do it all at the same time.
At the
And
same
your time is
time.
so valuable. So if
Right.
you're spending extra time on YouTube to figure out something that's somebody else's zone of genius that inspires them, right? Like, let me do what I'm passionate about so you can do what you're passionate about. And that's how, as a community, we survive.
Yes.
We're supported. We are thriving in what we do because we have that support around us. And you're not alone.
Again, you are like a speak of my language, girl.
I love it.
Because I'm now at that, not at 250,000, but I'm at the level where, I'm video editing, I'm the marketing, I'm the advertising, I'm the technical producer, I'm the lighting, I'm the makeup, but I'm still, and the spokesperson, you know what I mean? And the product tester, you know what I mean? But I'm still the mom and the wife. I still cook dinner. I still have 3 dogs. I still have to go pick up my kid from school.
Where's your self-care? Where's your self-care in that list, right? That needs to be up here.
I can't even go to the bathroom. When my kids were younger, I used to get slips of paper, little notes. Hi, Mom, slipped underneath the bathroom door. I'm like, dude. Now, you know what I mean? It's my dogs. They stick a paw or so. I'm like, I can't get like a breath, So yes, anything to be able to alleviate. I don't want to say the monotonous, but the monotonous, because a lot of that stuff can be automated.
Exactly. Yeah. And so with my experience, that's what I love is the automations of systems. So even, I don't know if you've ever done an inventory of all the subscriptions you have. What are you paying for when it comes to a system? Right? And you add that all up, and there's the accounting and the bookkeeping piece, right? And then you hit this ceiling of, hey, I know that I can do this extra stuff. I can bring in this extra revenue, but I don't got the time.
Figure out how to. Right.
So let's take those things off of your desk that really, like I said, doesn't like light you up on fire, that you enjoy doing, right? So then you have that time to go do that thing. And whether that there is from personal or from business perspective, you're free to do it.
Right.
And, even down the road, if you think about selling your business and stuff, a buyer's going to come in. They're not going to want something that you need to be there all the time. You want to retire. You want to go on a 3-month vacation with your hubby. Like, you just need that backbone that my system, my business can run without me. And this is how, and this is why.
Can you, for those who are not at that threshold yet, your comfy, juicy spot, for those little businesses, are there some programs or apps that they can actually use on their own that might help them navigate and streamline some of their stuff without being overwhelmed?
I'm not aware of that type of stuff. Like personally, I have no experience that, but we do offer like what we would call VIP days. So when we're doing the sweet spot of an online business manager, that's, we're a little bit more involved. It's not a full-time gig typically, but you can just do pop in and out, do a retainer that, hey, Jackie, you're going to monitor things for 10 hours a month or 20 hours a month or whatever makes sense.
Yes.
But our relationships with our clients, it's a long-term thing.
Right. It's not a hit 'em and quit 'em thing.
That's right.
For the
and we come in, do the deep dive, get everybody organized, but then we kind of step back as well because it's on a maintenance thing, right? We're not.
You got to see how it.
That's right. So we're not typically the doers. Like we will do the doing to learn it, to get immersed into it. But our goal is to find the experts that their zone of genius and bring them in just to do the work that needs to be done.
You're like the training wheels.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, I love that. Yes, I got to use that one there.
You're like the training wheels, and you put them on, and some, and then maybe you only have one on, which is where you step back and see how you guys are doing. And then you take the training wheel off and put your hand on the seat.
Exactly.
And just let it.
Exactly. Yeah. So back to your question then about, you're not at that threshold of your, finances, but a VIP day, it's like, okay, let's look at what is working well on your on a systems perspective, right?
Right.
We can do, then there's some visionary people that'll do VIP days where it's like, okay, where are you going with your business? But if you do a VIP day, let's make sure things are automated where they can be. Let's make sure your systems are talking together. Let's get rid of some of the systems that you're never using. Or, hey, did you know this system actually does this for you? You don't need to pay for this other one.
Piece.
They're always changing, right? So then it's like, okay, hey, wait a minute. Just that half a day or 1 day working with you, we've got like 8 more hours in like 2-week period. Guess what you're going to do? You're going to knock on those doors and do whatever your passions are, right? And And then your revenue's increasing, and it's just this beautiful ripple effect. Yeah.
And when you're rested and you can get a breath and catch a breath, you're
Yes.
not you don't feel like you're constantly putting out fires. You don't
That's
feel
right.
like you're flying by the seat of your pants,
Yes.
constantly being tugged. You get a time to like woosah and maybe even think some things like through that
Yes.
you maybe would have rushed through the decision before or
That's right.
so,
Yeah.
you know?
And think about it. When are you the most creative? You're the artsy fartsy, right? When does that
Evening.
inspiration come to you? Yeah.
Yeah. In
But if
my
you have a
evening.
million things in your head,
Yeah.
it's
Right
not
in the
coming.
middle when I've got to cook dinner
Yeah.
and my husband is about to come home from work. That's when I literally get into like because I'm doing this stuff during the day, like taping. So I get into the computer hustle mode
Yes.
later in the evening. And I have to I've had to learn and actually be conscious about shutting the laptop and turning the stuff off because
Mhm.
I'll be on here and he's vying for my attention or the TV or we're supposed to be doing X, Y, and Z and I'm hustling and I could eliminate
Yes.
that stress,
Absolutely.
that whole situation by automating.
Yes, as much as you can. And
Right,
whether it's a system allowing it to automate or we have that person that's their zone of genius that they love doing, they
right,
had your book to your standards, how you would
right,
do it. So
right,
nobody on the front end would know somebody else is doing it. It doesn't
right.
matter, right?
It's seamless. It look
Yes. Yep. Yep. And there's always life changes, right? You get sick. What happens?
Oh, yes,
Right.
and that's huge because right
Mhm.
now in the days of COVID, I've seen a lot of folks that have been off, social media for a week or 2, and it might not seem like a big thing in the scheme of the world, but because I'm constantly on it, I notice.
Yeah.
And they'll come back and be like, "Oh, my husband and I were down with COVID," and I'm like, "Wow."
Yeah.
So in my small business mind, at least for social media posts, one of the things that I do use is Meta Business or Facebook Business because
Oh, yes.
you can schedule your
Yes.
posts and your stories out. So
Yeah.
that way, if and it's a pain to have to schedule each one, right? But if you take a Sunday afternoon
Mhm.
while you've got your coffee, watching Bugs Bunny on TV or USA Today or whatever you're doing, and take an hour or 2 and schedule those out for like a week or 2. If you go down and get sick, your kid gets sick, you're
Yes.
going on vacation, God forbid you get into a car accident, like what? It doesn't matter. Life
Doesn't matter.
happens, right?
A parent aging, that's a big one
Oh,
too, right?
oh my gosh, yes, you
Mhm.
have other responsibilities outside your business, then that
Yes.
way and that's part of that small business automation
Yeah.
that'll at least your social media posts will be, you know what
Exactly.
I mean? If
Yeah,
nothing else, at least they know
nothing
you're
else.
still alive and kicking and it's still going
That's
on,
right. Yeah, yeah,
instead of just being silent.
silent. Or you have an event. You said, you host your events, right?
Oh my
What
gosh.
happens if something happens to you in that prime time that you need to be organizing? You could delay the event,
Oh my gosh.
but,
Yes,
let's do this, right? So that's where it kind of comes in when we do the deep dive. We
exactly.
create the year-long goal, then we focus
Mm.
in on the 90 days. So, we
Oh,
want to
yeah.
be proactive instead of
Yes.
reactive. Let's get your marketing planned out for the next 90 days. Let's get somebody in that can create your graphics. You know what you want them to say. Hey, let's get this all done. Let's get it scheduled for the next month.
And so I do see why you target the businesses that are a little further along. I see it, and it's
Mhm.
because they are actually already gotten over a certain hump.
Yeah,
And and this is just me, just thinking out loud.
for
In my
sure. Yeah,
mind, they've already gotten over a certain hump. They've got they're serious about their business.
that's right.
You are not spinning your wheels and putting your everything into a basket that's about to bust wide open because they're
Yeah,
not serious. They haven't proven
yeah,
themselves quite yet,
yeah.
to be stable, solid foundation business. And
Mhm.
so until you really get to that point, And it may not be a monetary level,
No.
but it could be a mindset level also.
That's right.
Until you actually get to that level, if you just started out making candles and just jumped on Instagram yesterday, that is not who
No, that's not our.
they would not benefit
No,
really unless they had this mega research behind them that they've been producing and they've got a business plan and they've already got market research. But typically that's not it. It's
no.
I got to stay at home now because my kid's on Zoom online schooling. So now I need an income because my work doesn't do online. So now I
That's
need an
right.
income. That's
That's
how it happens, right?
Yes, yeah.
I'm
100%.
just being honest. I'm just
No. You've hit the nail on the head. Absolutely. Yep. You need to know that what you're doing, what you're selling, you have your voice, what you believe in your own product to a
correct.
sense, but you also have, the following that, but then
Merit.
it's that growth period, right? And then you get to that certain growth that you can't do it on your own. And that's where you need the help. And then that's where you need the more time to carry on that growth. And some people don't want to carry on that growth, but they want to step back, maybe start another business, maybe start, go into that
Right.
experiment mode,
Right.
go into that.
Right. That's true.
So,
That's true. A lot of people, once they get to, they like the raising of the business.
yes.
But once it gets to a certain level, they want to back up, sell it,
That's
pass
right.
it on to the next person and go start the next one.
Yeah. Right.
They're like serial business starters.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you want to think about property, right? You get to a point, you buy something like property, but you have that property, you've put your like blood, sweat, and tears into that, painting it, getting it all ready, then you're renting it out. You need a property management. You don't want to do that day to day.
All the
light bulbs out.
Water heater busted, or the shingle fell off and hit me in the eye, or whatever, right?
Yeah. And so here's a property manager. You don't have to worry about it. You go on.
And it's so funny because, again, when you go into a business, you do not go speak to Mr. Walmart.
No.
You don't go speak to Mr. Target, Mr. Burger King. You speak to the manager.
That's right.
So as you get to a certain level in your business, you become less obtainable, less reachable, less you're a little up here, right? Yes. You kind of have somebody that almost like filters and mediates.
Yes.
That's right. And so you always go talk to the manager if there's an issue. You go talk to the manager and you have them sort out the issue. If they can't,
yes, that's right.
They escalate.
That's right. Exactly.
And so I don't understand why. I mean, and this really like baffles me why small business owners don't think in those terms. I think one of the big things is fear.
Yeah.
I feel like, and I use the baby analogy. I know people say you're not supposed to say your business is like your baby, but I use that as in like you're handing your baby off to the babysitter.
Yes.
You're trusting that babysitter is going to rub the tummy and rub the head and coddle and kiss and love on that baby just as much as you do, right? You're trusting that. Yeah. But you also have those parents that hand it off, but they got nanny cams. They're checking in on the daycare, right? They're calling every 3 seconds to see if Johnny was okay, right? So you have different types of managing styles.
You do.
Micromanager, you know what I mean? Or the one that sits back and has to have trust. Now, you can't just hire anybody.
No. You can't. No.
And I want to be clear, you got to be very careful with handing that baby off, right? That's why they got like care.com.
Yeah.
Right? to vet who you're handing your baby off. So whether you partner with another business partner.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Whether I bring on What's Poppin Canada, you know what I mean? I have
Absolutely.
to have that same faith that that person is literally going to take the same care of
Yeah.
the baby like I have.
That's
And
right.
so I love that you require a long-termish commitment. And the reason why I say that is because when you take your kids to daycare or a nanny, you don't want that turnover.
No.
You don't want different hands constantly on your kid, right? You want one person
Yeah.
that kind of gets to know your baby
Yeah.
when you can't and fills in for that surrogacy when you're not available. And that's what you literally would be doing.
Absolutely. 100%.
You're like my mini me.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's part of our process. So we actually do like a 90-day dating time, right? Because we have to make sure it's right on both.
You got to try us on for size too.
That's right. I don't like somebody watching me on a webcam. I don't work that way, right?
Exactly. I'll be like, what are you doing, Jackie? What are you doing?
Right? That's right. Or, I get it maybe the first
Irritating.
30 days, but then when it gets to like 60 days, it's like, okay, are you good to turn off some of these cameras? Because I got this. Don't worry.
You're freaking me out here. I got to pee.
That's right. Yeah. But I mean, it's a two-way relationship, right?
Yes,
So just as well
definitely.
protecting myself as well as for your business.
Definitely.
Right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And you want to make sure that that company, you doing your own try on for size, right? That this company's not blowing smoke up your butt.
That's
you know
right.
what I mean? And,
Exactly.
falsifying,
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, there are a lot of folks out there, especially the big X number 45 who's in the news right there with falsifying all his documents, but
Yeah.
I won't say his name. Anyway, but you know what I mean? You got to make sure that who you're working with, you're also, Jackie, vetting that other company to make sure they're on the up and up. You know what I mean? It's not a money laundering and we smuggling weed to Canada.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Or whatever. You got to do your homework and stuff too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
One of the last things I wanted to touch on with you that caught my eye, and it might be for the smaller business owner, I'm not sure, but it said launch plans.
Yes, that's right.
Tell me a little bit about that. Really piqued my my spidey senses.
For sure. So that kind of goes back to the visions, right? So whether you have a vision that you want to launch a product or a service, people are getting into the coaching services online or whatever that new revenue stream might look like. There's a lot you got to put into it. So you've got some market research. You've got to build your clientele that you're going to be buying it to. You've got to what are my graphics going to look like? What are my, what am I going to be selling this for? What is my deliverables? What is the, terms and conditions that people might have to sign in order to be able to purchasing this, that I'm not going to get in trouble.
Right? And so many people don't have a privacy policy.
Yeah.
I'll raise my hand because as soon as you said that, I'm like, shh.
But see, here's another brain that's just kind of tapping in, right? You can't know it all. You don't know it all. And that's
okay. You can't think of everything.
That's right. And you can't be ashamed of that. That's why you reach out and say, hey, just do this little check-in. What is that checklist that you have? Make sure that I have all these things, right? What's important? What am I missing? So with that launch plan, there's so many moving pieces.
Let me ask you this, because I'm sure that you encounter as you start planning out these businesses and moving them forward to level up. I'm sure you find, okay, so you need to create a position for a, I don't know, content creator, let's say. Is that something, would you refer? Do you have a network where you can say, well, we do have some people that do work in that area. If you're interested, you can hit them up. Do you also refer out? Because sometimes it is hard. We are more, I want to say we are faster to buy a product than we are a service,
For
because a
sure.
service is not tangible. I can't
That's right.
get it in the mail and put my hand on it.
Yeah.
So we're more reluctant
For
as
sure.
consumers. I'm
Yep.
putting my consumer hat on. We're more
Yep.
reluctant. Even when you press the button for that cream or that lipstick, you still might have that, oh my God moment. Did I just lose my money? But
Yes.
right, you
Yeah.
have that mild panic attack, right,
Yeah,
after you
for
cash
sure.
app somebody the money. But you know, services are different. So how do we navigate that?
Yeah. So as part of like the certified online business management, and so I keep saying certified because there's an international association of online business manager. So we did 6 months of training. We had to write a certification exam that was a week long. Like we basically were getting throwing real life examples of what we would be doing. And it is, yeah. So that's the certification. And so we have some standards that we have to keep, just like a doctor, just like an accountant, right?
See,
So
this is
that's
what
what
I
we do.
wanted to hear.
Yeah.
This is exactly
There's
what I
a
wanted to.
standard.
That's
Yeah.
precisely because when they're
Yeah.
like certified, what, she just put a stamp. Anybody could,
Exactly. No, this is
Photoshop
the
or
certification.
Canva.com these days and
Yes.
put so what that actually means, what that actually entailed, which means she's actually trained for this.
That's right. Yeah. So if you see online business managers, you can advertise an online business manager, but you want to look for that trademark. So I love that you did that in my beautiful little picture there, that little trademark. That means we've gone through the certifications and we're still up to date on everything. And we still have continual training. So actually, funny enough, yesterday I did an hour-and-a-half training on launch management, and they've even given us a checklist to make sure that we're not missing something as we're helping our clients.
I love that.
It's just so great. And that's where I'm getting, and it's just like, yeah, as you're growing, I'm growing.
Yes, it's reciprocal.
Exactly. So, and then that launch management as well, right? You have that, like we talked about, all of a sudden you get sick, right? Well, guess what? Everything's still going to get planned behind the scenes, and you can show up for that event, or
And
if we have to, we pivot and we extend it, but it's all taken care of, right? You're not going to get that last minute sickness because you've had so much on your head that by the time you get to your event, you're exhausted, right?
So I literally had a business partner quit on me the week before an event. And I didn't think I was that. I know I was running around literally like the proverbial chicken with the head cut off, but I didn't realize how tired I was until I looked at the pictures, and I was a freaking raccoon with the dark circle. I didn't put any makeup on because I was so frazzled. I had the darkest circles under my eyes, and I was smiling in all the pictures, but you could tell I was dead ass exhausted.
Yeah.
And
what happens after an event? Well, everybody's so inspired. They want to continue tapping into you, right? Like that's your prime time
to
try be like, hey, like let's do some lives, like, right? But you're right. You want to just like hibernate for the next month, but that doesn't.
You're right. It would be lovely to have something automated so that afterwards thank you cards or thank you emails went out. So I don't have to, you know what I mean? Or somebody that hits that button for me. So I don't have to do it. All those little follow-ups, the follow-ups. How did you like it? Blah, blah, blah. I try to get a sense of how people like the event afterwards, so all of those different things that would be alleviated and pushed off of my chest. I just pushed you.
That's right. Yeah. Yep. And that's where, and then I'm not in that taking on that stress and stuff as well, right? Like I've got the plan. I'm the keeper of the plan, and I'm just orchestrating that everybody else is getting things done on time. We're being proactive. Exactly. Yeah. Right. And then, so if we're like, hey, I've got this client that needs this content creator. I don't know anybody personally that I've worked with, but I mean, I've been doing this for about a year and a half now. So as my network grows, I'm going to grow as well. And I can foresee, like, my vision is to have somebody hired underneath me that people can come to me without even meeting that team, right? Or you might have somebody that you wanted to use, and that's cool too. They would just
Right.
report to me.
Right.
But then, I can reach out to my certified community and say,
Right.
hey, who have you guys vetted? And
Correct.
it's like, that's
Instant, you have a
my
whole
support.
network of your
Exactly.
own that
Yeah.
you
So it's
created
people
and
vetted.
cultivated
Yeah.
as you grow.
That's right. Yeah. And being
So,
certified, people will go into different niches, right? Like there's some people that
yes.
just work for coaches, some that work for
Right.
product services, right? But then
Right.
it's like, hey, my client does, here's a little bit of a blurb about what they do.
Right. Right.
Who do you recommend? Oh my gosh, this is what my clients do. I recommend this person. So then, you're not putting an ad on some website and
get
you're getting
random
1,000 applications that
and
you
have to
don't
sort
know
through all
who
that.
these people are, right?
Right.
And again,
Right.
it's
Right.
just time.
Because you already would have a set of folks tried and true already in place. So let me ask you, you being up in Canada, do you also service only Canada, or are
No.
you?
I'm North America. So there are some abroad as well. Like I've got one Australian client. So, and that's the thing, right? You're proactive. I mean, yeah, the one-on-one meetings, they happen. Like usually we'll do a check-in once a week, right?
Right.
But I mean, the thing is too, like when I was saying to your standards of how your business goes,
Right.
even if you're like, hey, Jackie, I need to hire this person. Well, guess what? If it's not to your standards that I know you need that content to be created, you're not seeing that.
Right.
I'm dealing with
You're
that.
the one that's,
and then, I'm like, sorry, like this contract's not working. Like move on. So so it's that other set of eyes, set of filters as well, that you're not like, oh my gosh, now I've got this. Now, oh my gosh, I'm just
another hat to put on.
Yes. That's right.
You know what I mean? You want to take those suckers off.
We
You know
do.
what I mean?
Yeah. So when it comes to tasks and stuff, and lots of beauty of the online world, right? You can go global. Right? And so that's where my clientele, it really doesn't matter where you are. Like it's really, what is our relationship?
Right.
How does that work? Is this going to be a long-term thing? Because that's really, really important. So, and I love your babysitting analogy, because that's where that's what I do, right? So I don't know if you look me up on LinkedIn, that's my tagline, the Mary Poppins for your online business.
I know, the nanny. Exactly. She gets out her little umbrella and her lamp out of that carpet bag and just makes the magic happen, right?
Let's meet that baby. Let's just like, oh, hey, there's a good relationship.
And when you don't need her anymore,
that's right.
She just opens that bitch and flies up away and goes to the next person that needs her magic.
Yep. Exactly.
I love it, Jackie. That's amazing. Eyes to analyze, y'all. Where can they find you, Jackie, if they want to get in touch with you and your team to get them organized and on the right track?
Yeah, so I offer reduce your overwhelm strategy session. So that's a free session. I'd love for anybody to book with me. You can find me on my website, www.eyes2analyze.com, or shoot me a message on LinkedIn. I'm there as well. So
on LinkedIn as well. And you're also on Facebook as well, right?
I am,
Not as much. Not as much.
But
LinkedIn is your
Find
thing.
me, message me. Yeah, we'll get connected with lots of chat.
If y'all aren't familiar, a lot of the very small businesses probably aren't familiar as much with LinkedIn, but that is a more professional social media site where resumes and good networking connections, once you've hit that certain level, that you need to connect with people who know more than you. That can take your business to that next level that you've been envisioning, right? We've got the vision, but you've got the strategy.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah.
I love it. Jackie, it has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us today on Glass Table Talks. Is there anything else that you would like to share to the masses? Any nuggets, any words of wisdom or gems that you want to drop to anybody?
I would just say, don't hold back because of your fears. There is support out there for you, no matter where you are in your journey. As a burnout survivor, burnout's not worth it. So reach out before you get to that point. and there is a community of support there for you. No
There's
matter
hope
where you are.
at the
There
end
is
of the
hope.
line.
You are not alone.
You are not alone. Mary Poppins is here to save the day.
That's right. Yes, just ping me. I mean, like, yeah, if you find me on Facebook, that's cool. Send me a message and we will, even if it's just to be like, oh my gosh, I just need to talk to somebody.
Exactly.
Like, hit me
I
up. It's all
love
good.
it.
We're all here together.
I love it.
Thank you so
All right,
much.
Jackie, it has been a pleasure.
Thank
Until
you.
next time, darling.
Bye.
Have a great